I just saw the movie last night. I'm still kind of processing it. I think it's the kind of movie that's going to take a while to process. Um, I'm curious when you guys were starting to get involved at first when you read the script, and now you've seen the final product. Does it look quite like the way you imagined it would?
Um, yeah.
Yeah, I mean so Alex very with obviously playing lots of different characters. Alex from the off was like, I don't want this to be a special effects show, and the difference in your characters is going to be performance led rather than necessarily sort of prosthetics led. So the big sequences where you knew you were leaving it in the hands of other people was obviously sort of the last 7 minutes. And the nice thing about filmmaking is the sense of collaboration, but it's usually there on the day, or in rehearsals before, the idea of someone then taking it on and using their art and expertise to develop it. It was sort of a leap of faith filming that sequence,
Hmm.
because there was obviously only a certain amount that you could do before you ran into a brick wall. So seeing, yes, I guess that's the only bit where I was watching it going, I'm interested to see how this has turned out.
Yeah.
And Jesse, you go through, I would say, the entire range of emotions in this film and then some. What's it like having to hit such intense notes day in, day out?
Um, yeah, I mean, it was full on, but it was. I mean, we had such a great time. Like, for the kind of first 5 weeks, it was really just you and me. And Rory's very funny, so I actually, a lot of the time I had to turn away from camera because Rory was making me corpse on a screen all the time, which is brilliant. That is just, um, but yeah, it was full on. But I don't know, it felt very exciting being on set. It felt like anything could happen any day. And Alex definitely creates like a very live set where you can just come in and offer things and chat things through and see what happens. And um, yeah, I loved it.
You mentioned having some rehearsal time beforehand. Does that really kind of help inform your characters so that when you're on your set, you know what you're going to be doing? But Alex apparently also lets you kind of play around and improv a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think certainly more than anything, rather than just like character or script, what it does, it creates a relationship, a working relationship between us all. And obviously, it being such a small cast, and it was kind of such a narrow number of locations, there was a sort of a contained element to it all, that those working relationships were going to be incredibly important. So to have that 2 weeks where you were just basically able to get to know each other and to understand each other and to start to sort of provoke and challenge each other as well, meant that the working relationship had been established, and it had been established in a really nicely creative and fulfilling way.
Papa, last night at the screening, there was a lot of talk of discussion as to where this film fits, genre-wise. Is it a horror film? If so, how does it deal with those tropes and expectations that come with the genre? Curious what your opinions are on that, and what genre would you say this film takes place in?
Yeah, I think the film kind of that's a good question. I think the film works on loads of different levels. So like you can, if you want it to be a genre film, a horror film, you can take it at that level. If you want it to be a kind of psychological thriller, you can take it at that. If you want it to be a philosophical musing, you can take it as that. I think that's I suppose the depth and the richness of what Alex's brain has and what he writes on the page and what he brings to life on screen. But I know he talks a lot about liking to work in genre and how that kind of can give you a lot of things for free. That can give you a lot of tools to kind of work from, and it can give you certain structural elements that you can have or you can subvert. But I don't know how useful that was for us when we were playing it, thinking about the genre nature of it. I think we were playing the scenes as they were in general.
Yeah, I mean, Jesse, I wonder what your thoughts are on that because certainly it's a kind of horror movie, at least for Harper and everything we see her go through from start to finish.
well, I'm terrified of horror films, and I probably last one I watched was when I was 7. I watched the
Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Chitty
scary.
catcher.
Yeah. I never actually read, even when I first read the script, it wasn't, it didn't feel like a horror to me. If I had known, I probably wouldn't have done it. But like, yeah, like Paapa said, you can't really be conscious of that because otherwise I'd just be looking scared all the time and doing kind of cliche horror acting. Yeah.
And one last question, Rory, was there a character that was particularly fun or your favorite to perform?
It was kind of an interesting experience, just how other people reacted to me. And you know, it wasn't like I wasn't staying in character, but I was obviously dressed and looking like that character where in between takes, and people behaved entirely different to me depending on who I was dressed as that day. So it was almost impossible to sort of like develop any kind of friendships or relationships because people felt like you were sort of lying to them because you bring in this whole new personality. And like, yeah, when Jeffrey was, like, particularly to begin with, when Jeffrey was on set, everyone, there was a sort of a sunny, rosy, everyone was having a good time. And then you turn up as the vicar and then everyone had sort of a sharp intake of breath. It's like, it's still me, I'm still Rory.
Jeffrey seems like an okay guy. I'd have a drink with him.
I love Jeffrey.
Yeah.
He is my favorite.
Don't have too many with him, though. Lead him astray.
Well, thank you guys so much. Congrats on the film, and really nice talking to you.
You too.
You too.
Thanks.
Hello.
Hi.
Mrs. Marlowe, yes?
Harper, yes.
Do, come in.
The words I have to say.
It's a beautiful house.
But they're true.
Would it just be you staying, or
Excuse me?
Mrs. Marlowe?
No.
Until you give your love, there's nothing more that we can do.
Apple from the garden?
Yeah, it was delicious.
No. Mustn't do that. Forbidden fruit.
Oh, God, sorry,
I'm joking.
Oh.
You're tormented.
It feels more like...
Haunted.
Yeah. Something happened. My husband went upstairs to our balcony and let himself go.
You must wonder why you drove him to it.
Why? I didn't drive him to it.
I thought it'd be true. But if you'd given him the chance to apologize, he'd still be alive.
What? A man followed me out of the woods. He was stalking me.
What makes you say that?
I saw him twice.
Twice. I don't know if he saw you once.
Want to play a game? You hide, I'll seek.
You must feel an awful sense of guilt.
Stay away from me. What are you doing now? What are you?
Love is the opening door.